Hello everyone, welcome back to Miltech channel again. Su-34, Russia's versatile frontline fighter bomber. The Sukhoi Su-34 sticks out among the clean silhouettes of contemporary fighter planes, both in terms of its design and its capability. NATO has given this Russian aircraft, which resembles a fighter, strikes like a bomber, and is constructed like a tank, the nickname fullback. The Su-34 is an intriguing combination of unadulterated power, cutting-edge technology, and tough usefulness, built for long-range attacks and deep penetration into enemy territory. Beginnings and progress. The Su-27 Flanker, one of the most powerful air superiority fighters of the late Cold War era, left a legacy that was carried forward by the Su-34. The Soviet Air Force looked for a successor for the outdated Su-24 tactical bomber in the 1980s, a swift, long-range, and resilient strike aircraft that can function in the face of hostile fire is the aim. Instead of starting from scratch when building a bomber, Sukhoi engineers took the Su-27 as a starting point, lengthening the fuselage and adding a side-by-side cockpit, which is not a common configuration for a combat jet. As a result, the aircraft had the payload and systems of a bomber yet the agility of a fighter. Instead of starting from scratch when building a bomber, Sukhoi engineers took the Su-27 as a starting point, lengthening the fuselage and adding a side-by-side cockpit, which is not a common configuration for a combat jet. As a result, the aircraft had the payload and systems of a bomber yet the agility of a fighter. Highlights of the design. The Su-34 looks like a fighter at first glance, but then you notice the broad cockpit canopy and duckbill snout. In addition to having a tiny galley and a toilet for extended flights, the cockpit is pressurized for high-altitude flying. The aircraft prioritizes crew endurance and cooperation, with space for 2 crew members to seat side by side. The aircraft can reach a maximum speed of Mach 1.8 and maintain a combat radius of more than 1,100 kilometers without refueling thanks to its 2 Saturn AL-31 FM1 turbofan engines. It has a great range thanks to its internal fuel tanks and external tank capacity, and in-flight refueling increases that range even further. For harsh field operations, the Su-34 has reinforced landing gear, a titanium-lined cockpit, and extensive armoring. Even in contested airspace, its computerized avionics package and fly-by-wire controls allow for precision handling and missile delivery. Avionics and arsenal. The Su-34 can be equipped with a variety of weaponry, including guided missiles, laser and satellite-guided bombs, air-to-air missiles, anti-ship missiles, and even nuclear warheads. It can carry up to 12 tons of ammunition on 12 hardpoints. For close encounters, it also has a 30mm GISH 30-1 cannon. The aircraft's avionics include electronic warfare suites, terrain-following radar, and sophisticated radar systems that can track targets both in the air and on the ground. The Su-34 is quite effective in both offensive and defensive missions because of these characteristics. Legacy and combat use. The Russian battles in Syria and Ukraine are among the real-world actions in which the Su-34 has been used. The plane was essential to precision bombing operations against rebel locations in Syria. Its performance demonstrated its capacity to carry out long-distance operations while maintaining a reasonable level of protection from missile threats and ground fire. The Su-34 has encountered more advanced air defense systems in Ukraine, revealing both its advantages and disadvantages. Its adaptability and durability are impressive, but it has also been the target of more sophisticated air defenses provided by the West, highlighting how aerial warfare is changing. In conclusion, the Su-34 represents Russia's strategy for contemporary air combat and is more than just a strike aircraft. The fullback is designed for a variety of roles, including deep strike, interdiction, reconnaissance, and close air support. It combines the speed and agility of a fighter with the weapons and protection of a bomber. Its distinctive features, like the side-by-side cockpit and onboard amenities, reflect a design philosophy that prioritizes pilot survival and endurance during extended flights. The Su-34 demonstrates that physical force and clever engineering are still relevant in contemporary combat aviation in a world where stealth and drones are the most talked about topics. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button, subscribe and comment. Give your best opinion about this bomber.